guys, today we are going to be doing a tag video, which I haven't done in such a long time, and I feel like there hasn't been enough tags floating around because I used to do these like constantly. Like people would always come out with tags and it was so much fun, and I'm so happy to have one to do. Today we're going to be doing the my eyeshadow palette collection tag. Need to get this right. This was created by one of my YouTube friends here on YouTube. Her name is Angelica Lirma, and I did do a collab with her not long ago. I will link that in the corner if you want to check it out. That video didn't get a lot of views, so maybe it just didn't get shown to a lot of people, or maybe you guys didn't care. I don't know, but it was a super fun video, and it was sort of a palette bingo style. It was a face-off, so go check it out if you haven't already. But today we're going to be doing a tag, like I said, and I'm just excited. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it, but before we get into it, this video was actually sponsored by Anna Luisa, and you guys know I have worked with Anna Luisa so many times in the past. If you don't know that, welcome, you're probably new to my channel, but Anna Luisa is a sustainable jewelry company. They make high-end luxury jewelry, but they are quite affordable. Their pricing start at $39, which I think for being what they are, I think is amazing, and their quality is just great. Like, I have worn their pieces so much. You guys see me wear them in all of my videos basically because they're so versatile. I can style them with everything, and I think that they're so easy to wear, and that is one of the reasons why I love them so much. So they reached out to me because they are currently having a Mother's Day sale where you can get 15% off all of the pieces on their website if you click the link in my description box. It's not affiliated, but it just kind of shows them that I sent you. And like I said, I totally stand behind all of their pieces, and I think that this would be such an amazing gift to give not only to moms, but basically to everybody. I did a video with them for their Christmas promotions, and I think that gifting jewelry is just, it's something that everybody can appreciate if, you know, they wear jewelry. Even if they don't, good time to start, because jewelry is just fun, and I feel like it just adds something to an outfit, and it just elevates your look a little bit. And I've been so impressed by all of their pieces that being able to work with them again is such a joy. So I will show you all the pieces that they ended up sending me this time. I'll start with this necklace that I'm wearing. This is one of their chain necklaces, and when I saw them first release this on their website, I almost made an order myself, and I was just kind of waiting for the right time to like buy some more pieces because I have bought for them in the past. I haven't just gotten all of these for free because I just love their stuff. So this necklace is called the Atom Bold Curved Chain Necklace. They come in different sizes or like different lengths depending on like the chain that you get. They have quite a few different chains. This one is a 16-inch one, and I feel like it's perfect around my neck. I have a pretty small neck though, so if you want something that's a little bit longer, you can definitely get that as well. Plus they sell extenders on their website. If you do want to just extend like whatever the necklace that you end up buying, you can just buy an extender, which I think is a great idea. Let me show you the earrings that I'm wearing as well, because these are really, really fun. This is like a little cute heart drop earring, and I think that this would be a perfect gift. Like these earrings in particular, with it being a heart on it, especially if you're going to be gifting them, I think that that is just adorable. I really like these. I think that they can be styled with anything, like I said, and they are just a really nice, well-made pair of earrings. The last pair of earrings here that I want to show you that I was also sent are called the Duo Double Hoop Earrings, and again, like I said before, I feel like I can wear these with anything. I really, really like the plain gold jewelry pieces from Anna Luisa. They have a bunch of stuff on their website, not just plain gold, so if you're into something that maybe has some stones in it, maybe has a little bit more color, you can absolutely find that. But I find for myself personally, I definitely prefer just the plain gold pieces because I can just chuck them on with whatever it is that I'm wearing, and it's just going to look really nice, and I don't have to like think twice about it, which is really cool. So if you guys are interested in supporting a sustainable jewelry brand, maybe get a gift for someone that you love, whether it be your mom, whether it be yourself, maybe someone else that you just want to gift something to, because giving and receiving gifts is always fun, would highly recommend that you guys check out Anna Luisa. I will of course have the link, like I said, down below in my description box for 15% off. Thank you, Anna Luisa, for sponsoring this video. I really enjoy working with you guys, and I think that you guys would really like the pieces. So let's go ahead and get into the tag. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I am very excited. And this tag is just fun. Like, I've seen so many of my friends do this tag, and every time I see a new video pop up, it kind of reminds me that I need to do this. So here I am doing this, and I can't wait to kind of share not the results of the questions, but just my thoughts, I guess, around whatever it is that I've picked out. So let's go ahead and start with the first question here. So all of these are like in the same, they're worded in the same way. So the first one says, if I could pick an eyeshadow palette in my collection that represents me when it comes to color story. This one was so hard because obviously you guys know I just did my collab with Menagerie. This has probably sold out by the time you see this because when I'm filming this, it's launching tomorrow. I don't know when I'm posting this video, but probably a few days after. But yeah, I mean, obviously this is me in a color story, and I'll be honest, I can probably answer this palette for every single question in this tag, but I'm not going to. I'm going to, you know, leave room to have other palettes be in the spotlight as well, but this color story is so me. This definitely represents me in a color story, but I also have to say that what I wear makeup-wise, eyeshadow-wise, really depends on my mood. It depends on my day. It depends how I'm feeling. It depends kind of what I plan on wearing, where I'm going. And so I don't always want to wear colors like this all the time. Like, it really depends. Like, this is definitely a very bright, fun, spring, summery palette to me. But there are days where I definitely want to go a lot deeper and grungier and darker. But I can't really get that with this palette, so I feel like I have two different moods. Like, this is one of my moods, and then the other mood is sort of like this darker, more mysterious side of me that I feel like I have a palette for that as well. And this is a palette that I don't really reach for anymore, because honestly, I don't feel like the quality of this palette is amazing. But I still felt like the color story of this is so me, and this is a palette from Sample Beauty. This is called the Prodigy palette. This is a very affordable palette. I think I paid like $20 for this, like 14 pounds or something. This is from a UK brand, and I think that the color story in this is just, it's very me. It has a lot of like dual tone mattes, which I really love, and it has a black to deepen it up with. And for me, dual tones together with a black is just chef's kiss. Like, that is one of my absolute favorite things to wear in my crease, other than brights, which obviously is in my other palette. So this palette to me kind of represents like the other side of me when it comes to color story, because I feel like I'm just very mood dependent when it comes to my makeup. And it also just depends on what I'm reviewing. But if I'm not reviewing something and I can choose the direction to go it, I'm either in the very bright family or I'm like kind of in this area. So I felt like this color story was very me, and I do think that they did a really good job curating this. Question number 2 says, if I could pick an eyeshadow palette in my collection that represents me when it comes to packaging. So when I read this question, there was one palette that came to my mind, and is actually a very new palette to my collection, and it's the Serendipity palette from Alien Cosmetics. There is something about this packaging that is kind of gaudy and out there and like very bold and intense, and it's also kind of quirky and fun and unique and different. And maybe that's saying that I am all of those things, but I don't know if I necessarily am, but it's kind of what I aspire to be. I think that this palette is just super fun, and I think that this palette doesn't like really, I don't know, it doesn't transfer as well on camera. It's hard to show off because of just the reflection in this and how bright it is, and also like it kind of obscures the colors inside because of the background. But when you see it in real life, you kind of get what I mean. Like, there's something about this palette that I really feel like represents me in a lot of ways. It's also kind of not messy and jumbled up, but it's a bit all over the place, and that is definitely what I am too. So I felt like it was just very fitting. Question number 3, if I could pick an eyeshadow palette in my collection that represents spring. I thought about doing a kind of spring palette kind of video. I don't know why I didn't. I just didn't. But I have a lot of palettes in my collection that I associate with spring, so I'm just going to show you the first 2 that kind of came to my mind, because I could have picked so many palettes for this. But one of the palettes is one of the palettes that I'm wearing on my eyes today. Today I'm wearing some of the new shadows from Terra Moons. I think that video was up already. If it is, I will link it, but I'm wearing those together with the Glamlight Ice Cream palette. If this palette doesn't scream spring to you, I don't know what will. When I think of spring, I think of brights, I think of pastels. I mean, that's basically what you get in this palette, and this is just very spring to me. I don't think you could honestly get more spring. I really love the shimmers in this palette. They're like very light and bright, and also these bottom 2 rows here they could be a standalone palette, honestly. Like, this is very spring. And I wonder when Glamlight is going to come out with something again. I feel like it's been quite some time since they came out with their last release. I feel like the last palette that they came out with was the Pie palette in their mystery boxes for Christmas or something like that. That is a long time for Glamlight. I do know they're working on a collab though, so that is probably why. But I'm excited because I miss me some Glamlight, because Glamlight is one of my favorite brands. They have one of my favorite formulas, and I think that they're just super fun to work with. So I'm excited for them to come out with something new, and I hope that it happens soon. The next palette that I wanted to mention as well that I also feel like is very much in the same family as the ice cream palette. This is the Elva 2 palette from Udensai. This one also, I I just see spring in this palette when I look at this. And they came out with this, I'm pretty sure last spring. I think this was their summer or spring release last year, so it totally makes sense. It's very, very bright. It's got some pastels in it. And I also feel like with the glitters, even though I kind of despise glitters, I don't like glitters personally, I feel like glitters kind of represents like summer and spring as well, even if I would never wear them myself because I'm scared of them. But yeah, I do feel like this is a very, very spring appropriate palette. It's got some really, really fun pops of color in here, especially this kind of peachy, neon-y peach. It is so intensely bright on the eyes that it's almost insane. Like, it looks neon. It's such a beautiful color. This green is beautiful. This blue is beautiful. This blue is a very, very unique blue tone, and I think that this is just a fun palette. This definitely represents spring to me, and I'm happy to have it in my collection, and I hope that I get to pull it out again and be able to play with it. Next question says, if I could pick an eyeshadow palette in my collection that represents happy. And when I was looking through my palettes to kind of figure out what would make me happy, when I saw this palette, I just had a really big smile on my face because this palette just makes me really happy to look at. And this is nothing to do with the palette inside. This is purely the packaging that makes me happy. And it's the Pastel Puff palette from Annette Cosmetics. I mean, you can't look at this and not smile. Like, look at that little pup. It's so cute. It's so adorable. I remember when I did my thumbnail for the 3-look video that I did with this, I tried to mimic his face and I was like, and I feel like we kind of looked alike. And he's just the cutest thing ever. If you haven't seen this palette, I'll show you the inside of it, but this is basically a pastel palette, and I've said many times in the past, I'm not the biggest fan of pastels, saying that I did buy the Gimme Glow pastel palette today. I don't know why I keep doing this. I always say that I'm not really a fan of pastels, especially on their own. I never really use pastel palettes on their own because I do prefer a little bit more depth, whether it be like a bright color to kind of deepen something up with, or a darker color to deepen something up with. Just purely pastel palettes aren't really my thing, but I keep buying them. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm excited to get that one, but this palette is also really, really nice. If you're looking for a pastel palette, which is really good quality, would highly recommend this. I think this is it's just adorable. It just makes me really happy. Next question, if I could pick an eyeshadow palette in my collection that represents the dark and grungy in me. When I saw this palette, I knew that this one would be the one. Some people might not necessarily consider this grungy, but dark, it's definitely dark. So this is the Muerte palette. It doesn't have a black in it though, but all of the mattes in this are so intensely pigmented and rich and dark that some of them almost look black on the eye. Like, you cannot get a light look with this palette unless you only use this matte up here or just use no matte at all, because if you're going to use any of these other mattes, they actually like turn out to be darker on the eyes than they do in the pans, and I really like that. And every look that I've done with this palette have just been so intense and so out there, and I'm living for it. And I think that this is just such a unique palette. I wish that they would bring this back. This color story is so unique and inspiring and different. Yeah, I really love this palette, and I wish I had time to play with it more because it really does inspire me so much. I haven't seen a color story like this ever, I don't think. Like, this is just, it's such a good palette. If I could pick an eyeshadow palette in my collection that represents the girly in me, some people might be surprised when they see this. I've only done one video with this, I've only filmed one look with this, but I have actually reached for this quite a lot when I haven't been filming, especially if I just want to feel pretty, because this one has a lot of really nice pinks and purples, and this is the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe Volume 2 palette. I mean, when I look at this, I just see pink and purple. And even though there are quite a few neutrals in here, it's the pinks and the purples that really like scream my name. And they're really nice quality, and there's some really nice bright purples and pinks in here. I really like this palette. I think it's beautiful. And every time I wear it, I just feel really pretty. And when I think of girly, I think of just feeling pretty, you know? And that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting with this palette, and that's how I feel when I wear it. So I felt like I had to pick this palette, and I had other options, but this was the one that just gravitated to me the most. And yeah, I like this palette. I like this palette a lot more than I thought I would. Question number 7. If I could pick an eyeshadow palette in my collection that represents fun. This palette is the definition of fun. If you don't think this palette is fun, get out of my channel. I'm kidding, but not really. But this is the Glamlight Cake palette. If this isn't fun in a palette, I honestly don't know what is. Just the fact that it's themed as a cake. I mean, cake is fun, cake is delicious. I love cake. Cake makes me happy. And so this is fun to me. An eyeshadow palette inside of a cake, I mean, it really doesn't get much better than that. And it also came in an oven. Like the packaging of this was like an oven that the palette was inside of. I think it's just brilliant. I love the color story in this. I love the colors. I love how bright they are. I love how fun they are. And this palette is very inspiring to me. I've used this so many times. It's definitely my favorite rainbow palette in my collection. I mean, outside of my own palette, of course. But like I was saying, other palettes deserve love too. So I'm giving the love to this palette because I think that it's an amazing palette and it's a great color story and it's really nice quality and it's just fun to work with. Last question. If I could pick an eyeshadow palette in my collection that represents inspiration. This one was so easy to me because this is a palette that I have done 10 looks with and I am still so inspired by this palette even though it's a piece of shit bulky, it's hard to store, it's hard to open, it's so annoying. But the color story and the quality of this palette totally makes up for it. And also the fact that there are only 3 shimmers and the shimmers kind of suck makes me feel like I need to pull in some of my indie singles and that inspires me also so much. And the fact that I can like mix this with my singles and almost have to do so in order to create a look because I don't like the shimmers in this, that makes me really happy in a way because having a reason to play with my indie singles is always fun. And that is how I did my 10 looks with this, is I basically used the mattes in this palette for every single look, and then I would use like some more special shimmers, and I think that a lot of people really appreciated that I did that because it was fun to just see how you can use this palette in different ways and what other shimmers you can kind of pair this with. And I made so many good looks with this. I'm not to toot my own horn, but I was very happy with the looks I did with this palette, and I'm still so inspired by this despite this being a box that weighs 3 pounds. Packaging on this is just so annoying, I'm sorry, but I really, really wish that P. Louise would just come out with like less bulky packaging, honestly, because I can't deal with this. I suck it up because the quality is so good and the color story is so good, but I really wish I didn't have to. That's gonna be it for all of my questions. That was so fun to do. If you guys want me to do another tag myself, like, let me know what kind of tag I should come up with because doing tags yourself is kind of fun and I would like to do another one. I did one like in the very beginning of my channel. A lot of people actually ended up doing it and it was really, really cool to see everybody's answers. So maybe I should come up with another tag. I need to think of some questions. It's always really hard, but it's kind of fun. Maybe I should do that. Anyway, that's gonna be it for today. Thank you so much to Anna Luisa for sponsoring this video. Don't forget to check out their Mother's Day sale down below. Click my link, go check out their website. They have some great stuff. Love working with you guys. Can't wait to work with you again in the future. Thank you to you guys for watching the video. As always, if you wanna see some other tags that I think I have a playlist right here. Well, I do now. And if you're new, don't forget to subscribe and I will see you in my next video. Bye.